Good afternoon, this is Gabriel Jackson, and welcome to BJC Halacha A, number 1617. Halacha A keeps the Yetzer Hara away. A new chapter, we did the introduction yesterday. Laws pertaining to a fire, God forbid, that breaks out on Shabbos. If heaven forbid, a fire breaks out on Shabbos, our sages were concerned that the head of the household and his family, who are in the vicinity of the fire, will be occupied with rescuing their belongings. They will be hasty and panicky at the prospect of losing their valuables, and as a result, forget that it is Shabbos, and they might extinguish the fire, which is a no-no on Shabbos. They therefore forbade rescuing even objects that are normally permitted to be handled, meaning non-muksa objects. They forbid even to move them to a place where it is permitted to carry. Only that which is needed for the day is permitted to be rescued. So he says in the footnotes, some argue that this prohibition applies only where the salvaged objects are carried to your neighbor's unroofed yard, which borders a public domain, for there is concern that you may also carry into a public domain. But to your own yard or friend's house, you may salvage all the food and items you are able to. Mishnah Berurah rules that you may be lenient since the prohibition involved is only rabbinic. The Shulchan Aruch Harav, however, rules that you must be stringent. So again, he says, only that which is needed for the day is permitted to be rescued. For instance, if a fire broke out on Shabbos Eve, before the Shabbos meal, you may rescue enough food for the 3 meals, right? Because there's 3 meals on Shabbos, Friday night, Shabbos morning, and the 3rd meal, Shalashudas. Food fit for humans, food fit for animals, for animals. So he says in the footnotes, enough for 3 meals for each member of your household. And since you yourself may not eat before feeding your animals, so you can actually bring out food enough for the animals as well, assuming you have animals. If the fire broke out in the morning, you may rescue food for 2 meals. If the fire broke out in the afternoon, you may rescue food for 1 meal. If one vessel contains much food, i.e. more than you need, for example, a basket full of breads or a barrel full of wine or something similar, since you can move it all at the same time, it is permissible, although you're rescuing more than you need. Similarly, if you spread a sheet or something similar and gather into it everything you can remove, even quantities of food and drink, and you remove them all at once, it's permissible. You may also remove all the utensils that you need to use that day, like forks and knives, etc. It says in the footnotes, otherwise, why is it allowed to bring that basket even though it's more than what you need? Otherwise, you may rescue only enough wine for 3 meals if you don't have that basket or that bottle. You may rescue other liquids to have a sufficient amount for the entire day. And one more footnote here. According to some, this applies to loose food, not in containers. If the food is in containers, then each container is considered separately. Others do not distinguish between loose and containered food. Okay. Interesting halacha. Thanks for listening to Response Feature Halacha 36. 100 for the gold. We'll see you tomorrow.